all the way up to 340 today. It is a dramatic revival of the stock that everyone deemed to be dead in the water. But I told everyone I'm back in since 320. It was clear this thing is completely oversold and fell out of the graces of the market, even of the Tesla fans. Many people selling their Tesla shares to jump onto the SpaceX train or rocket, which in my opinion is a big mistake. Not that SpaceX isn't great, but SpaceX is already being chased too high based on Elon's statements that they will beat all the revenue, 100 billion here and there, which is all probably true. But we should never forget there's something called valuation. And SpaceX is already at 2 trillion again, whereas Tesla is at 1 trillion. And Tesla offers some uniquely powerful benefits in this whole AI spectacle that we are experiencing. That is why I remain most bullish on Tesla, while I actually started initiating my SpaceX position in earnest now. So SpaceX is on the radar now. It is through the worst and it will be interesting. But Tesla is probably the most underrated AI stock right now. And I want to start with giving you 3 reasons why that is the case. I start with the first fundamental reason. Here was some very good posts from all kinds of people. Number 1, Robotaxi. The thing that actually makes the stock work. The thing that can bring in hundreds of billions in additional earnings over the next years. That thing that everyone is waiting for, that thing there where everyone thinks, oh my God, they let us down. They are like slowing it down, whatever, conspiracy theory, the robo-taxi, the autonomous transport future is never going to happen. They're failing us. It's a disaster. I kept saying, even though I was disappointed too, that my predictions for April, May did not come true, and we are delayed. But when you look at what is happening across US cities, when you look at Austin, Texas Gigafactory and what is being produced, we are in a complete and total nationwide rollout of robotaxi, and no one is noticing except for me. And now you. It is actually happening at total scale, only not in the way people expect it to happen. People think, oh my God, why are there not robotaxis all over the place? Well, there are robotaxis all over the place. They're just not being deployed yet, but they're being accumulated across the board all over the place. And now increasingly also as cybercabs with, or more importantly, without steering wheels. Look at what Robotaxi Rider is showing here. This is Joe Techmeyer reporting on all these cybercabs. Look at them. And 43 out of 44 cybercabs pictured below do not have a steering wheel. The largest collection we have seen so far of actually fully operational commercial robotaxis that can't even be used in any other way than commercially as robotaxis. So people are delusional if they think this is not happening. This is happening at scale. They're just not being deployed yet. But we can conclude that deployment is more or less imminent. Here's Nick Cruz, Patane, telling us all the good news about Tesla's core business, that we see Model Y, Model 3, Cybertruck wait times going through the roof. We are now September, October wait times here, 10 to 12 weeks wait time. Wait times are very important because they indicate demand. Demand is accelerating. The oil crisis, elevated oil prices, elevated gasoline prices, in conjunction with, of course, FSD. FSD being promoted all over the place. Faza just had a great video out where you see all these influencers now all across the world talking about FSD. Not Tesla influencers, I'm talking car influencers who are not even Tesla fans. They are showing now, look, these cars drive themselves. The populace is noticing on a grand scale because FSD is now becoming incredibly powerful. All of this is the first reason why Tesla is coming soaring back. These are the fundamental reasons. The fundamental reasons why the stock is very strong. Well, the stock is very weak, but the case for the stock is becoming incredibly strong right now. And that is, I think, why I'm incredibly bullish on the stock. I have been bullish. I am bullish. I was wrong on the second quarter. The second quarter was a disaster in terms of me being right. I was very wrong on the second quarter. I said 490 is coming. I said roller is coming. It didn't come in the way I wanted. I was totally nailed it on the first quarter, also return wise. Second quarter was bad because I was wrong. Now we are getting into a more reasonable phase, I think, where we can say, after this insane drop, I got out before. I told everyone before earnings, get out. Well, I'm getting out. I got in here because this is ridiculous. This was part of the July sell-off, the worst sell-off we have seen in 30 years for momentum stocks. That includes Tesla, and of course, everyone gets slaughtered. Aschenbrenner, we covered it in the weekly brief in Pioneerlands. Go to pioneerlands.org. The weekly brief is getting better and better. We have the third edition of the weekly brief coming up over this weekend, where we cover Tesla, SpaceX, AI. We also cover, besides stocks and capital markets, in the second segment of the Pioneer weekly brief that you have to watch if you don't want to be left behind. The second piece of the brief is the AI frontier, where we will report about Grok 4.6 killing it. There's also Gemini Flash being released as we speak. And we will have politics. I reported on Tucker last week, but this week it will be about European politics. Very interesting stuff. So pioneerlands.org, go there and become a member. Very important. It's free, by the way, but it's important. We are building Pioneerlands up. Big things are happening in August. So what is happening? What is the second reason? The second reason why Tesla is in a very good position right now, is the AI trade. When you think about the big AI trade, you think about the semiconductors, specifically NVIDIA, AMD, and this whole crowd. You think about the memory game, Micron. One of my biggest positions is still Micron. You have to be cautious, but this thing comes roaring back, is still completely undervalued. Micron. I don't have a bucket. You can have Micron, SanDisk, SK Hynix if you want. Probably doesn't hurt, but I am most familiar with Micron. I feel most comfortable with Micron. So the memory bucket, you have the Mag 7 hyperscaler bucket, and you have the NeoClouds. Nebius, they had a very good week. So the NeoClouds, I'm very bullish strategically on the NeoClouds. We need a little bit more work on our side to analyze exactly what's going on there. It's very tricky with these stocks. Strategically very bullish, but tactically, what about valuation? I'm always first doing my work. We have completed Micron. We have completed SpaceX. We have long completed Tesla. We have completed NVIDIA. They are covered on pioneerlands.org in the investment research section. The NeoClouds, hopefully completed in August. We don't have to be nervous, guys. Don't be nervous. We will cover them all. We will also cover Mag 7, and that is the big bucket we have to look at. Mag 7 hyperscalers. Apple we leave out for now. Tesla and SpaceX, the Musk universe. Then we have to cover, of course, the semiconductors. We have to cover the NeoClouds, and we have to cover memory. And then you have a very good chunk of opportunities there. And then out of this universe of 15, 20 stocks, you pick the top 4 at every moment in time. And even though I'm a super Tesla bull, you know that I was more or less very minimized on Tesla until last week. So between earnings and last week, but I'm back in. So the second reason why Tesla is so powerful right now is because it offers a unique take on AI. It is not subject to the memory cycle madness. It is not subject to the NVIDIA and GPU discussions. It is not subject to NeoCloud issues. It is not subject to the hyperscaler topics. It is uncorrelated to some extent. To a very large extent, Tesla is an uncorrelated bet on physical AI. You are not completely tied into the madness of memory. You're not tied into the huge, insane discussions about hyperscalers going up and down. NeoClouds, highly correlated with hyperscalers, not totally, but very correlated. And SpaceX, by the way, also increasingly correlated with the whole hyperscaler NeoCloud and GPU thing. Tesla is unique. Tesla is unique because it has Optimus and Robotaxi, which are not directly related to these things. In addition, it's cheap. It's $1 trillion. $1 trillion. What is $1 trillion? Nothing. So Tesla is very cheap. in terms of absolute valuation. It's very cheap looking forward, looking at the opportunity. You know that every 100,000, every million robotaxis generate roughly 50 billion in net earnings. That's insane. That is a 20 PE ratio on a trillion. So, simply put, every million robotaxis will add between 1 and 2 trillion in market value to that stock, and the stock is currently only 1 trillion. So you have a thing coming, every million robotaxis adding 100 to 200% to the stock. And how many million robotaxis can you have? Well, of course, in theory, you can have 100 million robotaxis. That's 100x upside with no Optimus required. That is why Tesla is extremely hot, in my opinion. And the whole debate about SpaceX and Elon delaying rollout is complete bogus if you know anything about anything. This is just not a thing. Robotaxi is rolling out. We see it all happening. And that is why I believe at an absolute minimum, Tesla is going to go back to 360 in absolutely no time. 366, 370 is an absolute gap fill necessity. We are going back here without anything happening. Why do I say 366? Because I'm out there. So we can even say 370. And maybe you say, oh, Joe, that's not a lot. Well, it's a lot for me because I think the risk of not getting there is very low. And if the risk is low, I know how to leverage the hell out of this thing with options, not with margin. So I am bullish. I am more than fully invested again since 325 or something. And I will ride it all the way to 370, then reassess the situation, how much I want to be in this thing. But that is what I'm seeing here. And then, of course, the third reason is a more technical reason. If you look at 1 year ago, in December, we hit 480 and the company was much weaker. The company was in a much weaker spot than now. So we have a tremendously negative year so far, and that is actually bullish. If the company goes up, the stock goes down, the market goes flat or up, we are in a bullish situation because things like that, stupid little FUD, stupid little SpaceX distractions, even though I love SpaceX, but stupid little SpaceX distractions in terms of destroying Tesla stock will come back to haunt whoever falls for it. When a stock is cheap, I buy. When they cry, I buy. And the stock is cheap when you compare to its peers, to hyperscalers, to memory stocks, even in relative terms, not in absolute PE terms, but in technical terms. Where did these stocks go? Where have they been? Where are they going? And if you compare December, all these stocks versus Tesla now, Tesla is in relative terms vastly underrated. And there is just no way other than closing this gap to itself and to the others. That's why I'm all back into Tesla. There you have it. All, of course, conditional on the market not destroying us. But as you know, Iran was always over. I always told everyone the Iran war is a hoax. It's a bogus because Trump never had the option to escalate. He pretended. He never had an option. That's why people said I was wrong when I was actually right. There was never a path to escalate Iran. And now it looks very sad and bad for the United States, but who cares? Not my problem. I'm not the president. I didn't make these stupid decisions. I'm just saying from a market perspective, war is not an option. So that makes us relatively safe. I think the market is going to rally back to something. If it rallies too much, of course, we have to be prepared for a Q4 correction, maybe even September. But for now, we are on a rally back, and we will have more coverage of the AI trade, of the circular financing thing. In the weekly brief coming out on the weekend, we will discuss NVIDIA's financing strategy with a super duper big fat 6 asset managers or whatever you call these things, BlackRock and so forth. The master stroke that Jensen executed to undermine the hyperscalers, to remove dependency from the hyperscalers, to empower the neoclouds. I have it all lined up for you guys, but not in this session. Today we are talking about Tesla, but NVIDIA making a master stroke of financing and risk distribution. diversification for NVIDIA and ensuring its future growth, empowering the neo clouds. And all of this is very interesting, will drive the market higher until we have the next little temper tantrum of people saying we're in a bubble. It's very predictable, these little dummies. We are not in a bubble. We are going up onto the right. We are in the singularity, but because we are surrounded by normies, every 6 months or so, we will have a temper tantrum and a bubble panic attack. Totally predictable. We had it in November last year. We had it in July. People go nuts. They think it's all fake and they're selling off. No one is looking at the numbers. I predict this is going to happen again in December or January or November. We say, oh my God, we are in an AI bubble. And then everyone sells off again. And then everyone realizes we are not in a bubble. And the whole cycle repeats. I don't know for how long this is going on. Maybe at some point people realize we are not in a bubble, but I don't care. For now, it's predictable. I hear all the dumb YouTube videos like, we are in a bubble. We are in a bubble. We are in a bubble. Micron trades at 6 forward price earnings. That's crazy. How can you trade at 6 times forward price earnings? Irrational exuberance. No. 6 is not irrational exuberance. 10 is conservative normal. 6 is below that. It's not above that. So people are little dummies. So there you have it. Let's jump into the comments. You know I'm bullish again. Full bull run on back on Tesla. You see here what's happening. I got a little concerned here. If this is the end, depending on the market, we could have dropped to 280, no problem, but we didn't. And the market caught itself. We are on a run up. I realized it's somewhere here. Where was this? No, here. August 3rd. And now we're on a very nice uptrend just to fill that stupid little gap here that was torn into our dear little Tesla stock for no reason. Let's go into the comments and see what you guys have to say. Hello from Belgium, ATM. Oh, dude. Hello to Belgium. Belgium, beautiful. Well, Bristol, a little bit of a shithole, but Belgium, Antwerp, it's all beautiful. Should SK Hynix and Micron do a stock split soon? I don't know. It's a bit difficult to get started on short puts with them. Huge margin requirements. I've never thought about it, Mahida, but I mean, should is a good question. Will they? Probably. It's probably time for Micron to consider a stock split. Not happening a lot with these guys, but I would say 1,000 is like this thing where you should probably split your stock. Yucatan, Mexico. Vancouver Island guy. Wow, Vancouver Island guy gives away his entire travel strategy. So you're from Vancouver and you're in Yucatan, Mexico. Beautiful. Oscar Oscoda Gold says, but is Tesla setting up the infrastructure required to launch all these robotaxis, charging, cleaning? Yes. No, absolutely. They're doing that. It's also much easier than you think. Imagine you have 200 of these things in a city where you already have 300 chargers that are already installed. Half of them can just go to the standard chargers. You have to consider superchargers are not even being used at night. You can use your own superchargers at night. Just occupy them at night. You know, cybercaps don't need to get charged during the day. They need to get charged during the night. And then you have mobile cleaning, and this is not very hard to do. Not at this scale. Deploying 500 cybercaps or robotaxis in large cities is super easy because the entire infrastructure already exists. You have to always consider that these superchargers are not really used at night. Who's charging their Tesla at night? I mean, I did sometimes in Oz, but not at 3 a.m. Pick up and drop off is not ready yet. Sure, but it will be ready at any moment. Akonda, hi Bhakti community, and happy Thursday to all of you. This is not the Bhakti community, we are the Pioneer Lands community. We don't want to brand it with myself. I'm not Trump. I don't want to have skyscrapers, Bhakti skyscrapers. But I hear you. Here, Mahida says, Grok 4.7 is supposedly only 4 weeks away. I think it's going to be a big blow to Anthropic and OpenAI. I mean, Grok 4.6 is already a giant blow, and Grok work, look at that stuff. They are cooking, these people. Cooking. And I totally agree, Mahida. 4.7 is gonna blow our minds. But don't underestimate Astra. Astra is coming. Charles Lücker. That sounds like German American. Charles Lücker. Franklin, Tennessee. A neighbor just posted a pic of at least 10 parked robotaxis here today. In Franklin, Tennessee. I've never been to Franklin, but I've been to Tennessee. Beautiful, beautiful state. So we are now in Tennessee with 10 parked robotaxis. Starlink likely is part of solving the pickup drop-off issues. Is it? Interesting. I've never thought of that. How would it solve these pick and drop-off issues? Maybe it can. Are there any stats on safety on robotaxi? Yes. Pioneer Land, lol. Exactly. Pioneer Lands. It's not one land, it's many lands. Yes, NHTSA, NHTSA has stats on robotaxi. Look it up. And Austin and Texas Department of Transportation, they have all these things. I was starting to think that I had made a big mistake buying Tesla and should have bought SpaceX. Well, Susan Ling, as a rule of thumb in trading, every time you think you made a mistake and want to chase another stock, that is exactly when you shouldn't do it. That's exactly when it turns around. I mean, look at this today, 3.54% up and SpaceX down. Okay, SpaceX was down, it was up a lot, which was good for me. I was doing a little play. And today it's down, right? So, I understand yesterday was a giant day for SpaceX, but, Tesla will catch up very quickly. SpaceX is up 11%, now down 2.59%, so 9.5% up, but then Tesla is already up 3.4%, so the differential is only 6% right now. 6% is 2 days, 2 good days, and we're back. So don't chase. Chasing is always a mistake because you're too late. When I sold my short puts today on SpaceX, I was a little conservative. I sold them at 140, which was smart instead of too close to the money because it dropped. And I'm fine still, right? 140 is going to be fine, I think. Need to have VRT2. There's enough room in the market for all of these companies to find their competency. I don't think anyone loses big, but some lose small, mostly loss of upside. Well, Poxy Frostbite, I disagree with Poxy this time. I think you're right on the Max 7. Too big to fail, absolute winners. Tesla, SpaceX, Max 7, yes. On the NeoClouds, that's why I'm a little hesitant. There is the possibility, because these are small companies, then 1 or 2 of them will completely fail. I think they're betting on the right super trend. They're absolutely in a winning position, but all you need is like one problem and, one of them goes down in flames. So if either you wait and become a citizen in Pioneer Lands, and then you read our research reports, our investment research on the NeoClouds once it's done, but then you have to wait another month for that because we're working on it. Or if you want to bet on the NeoClouds, just be cautious. Rather bet on a bucket. CoreWeave, Nebius, and the other guys. And what is it? CoreWeave, Nebius. What's this thing? The other thing called? Like buy 3 in a bucket. Because I would still be skeptical. Timber says Tesla, SpaceX own both. Totally agreed. But I still think Tesla is the better deal right now. Because now SpaceX ran up again. SpaceX, when people say, oh, it ran from 100 to 140, I mean, that's a crazy, whatever, $600 billion ad. That's nearly entire Tesla added. So people don't fully understand what that means if something runs up from 105 to 140 at that scale. Even if they announce another 50 billion in earnings, I mean, it's hard to fill these shoes. On the Cybercapsule world, Dylan Loomis from Electrified had that Tesla is having issues with the cars going into an infinite loop or 40-point turnaround. Yes, that happens. I only have finite savings, Susan Ling. That is the tragedy of human existence. Finite savings. If we didn't have that, many problems would be solved. I'm 10 to 1 Tesla SpaceX currently. I will buy the best deal to Kardashev 3. Interesting, Poxy. I'm a little more aggressive here. I'm actually now synthetically pretty exposed to SpaceX. I'm closer to like a 2-to-1 at this point. I'm actually pretty SpaceX heavy. No, a 3-to-1. 3.5-to-1 Tesla SpaceX. Along with Tesla, my AI spread is Micron, Nvidia, Nubis, CoreWeave, and Broadcom. That is pretty good. But as I said, when it comes to the neoclouds, I would just buy a bucket. I would buy a bucket because I don't know too much. You have Nebius, CoreWeave, VRT, and Broadcom. I think that's a very good combination, in my opinion. So, Vertiv. I didn't do my research on Vertiv. What's the latest there? So, but that's a pretty good combination. Jerdobi, I think you're well positioned. But you don't have SpaceX? Interesting. I think it's definitely time to start your SpaceX position, by the way. I said wait until December, but I changed my opinion after seeing the unlock and the behavior of the stock. I think this stock is not going to fall much from here. The risk of SpaceX going down, conditional on the market not going down, I think the risk is very minimal at this point, and the upside is bigger, much bigger than the downside. Vertiv went down after earnings a lot, 11%, but that's normal. That was in the madness, in the middle of the madness. I have 7% SpaceX, 93% Tesla. That sounds very similar to our friend Stephen McRyan. When Tesla releases the flying car, what happens during a traffic jam? What about if someone cuts you off? You don't have a traffic jam, you can fly. Susan Ling, watch SpaceX, and when it goes below IPO, if it does, dollar cost into it, even if small amounts, Robinhood allows fractional shares. I would definitely start initiating the SpaceX position. It looks like Tesla is going to close above the 200-day moving average today. That could totally happen. Where is Tesla now? Tesla is doing well. Oh, it's doing very well. It's having a little run into the close. Up 3.8%. Nearly 340. Are we going to make 340? Yes. Wait, why is it delayed so much? What is this? Google Finance is delayed like crazy. Should I check Yahoo? Yahoo is not delayed. Let me check my Yahoo on the phone. I will do a time travel 5 minutes into the future because Google is lame. 5 minutes into the Google future. Just to see where Tesla closed today. 339.96, 4 cents short. Too bad. 340.20. This was a very good day. I'm recovering all my terrible July disaster losses like everyone else. But we are used to it. I dipped a small toe into SpaceX. 0.96 of 1 share. I have a little more than that. Mo Farmalik. Every summer, asset managers go on vacation because their clients want to yell at them for about 4 months. Summertime is almost always a great time to invest. I agree. The Hamptons. I wonder if this is still the case in 2026. Times are changing, but probably yes. Susan Ling. As long as you have a decent timeline, you will be happy. We is the 490 you promised. I didn't promise it. I predicted it and I was wrong. It's probably coming this year. Now we are a little set back, but do I think we will reach 490 this year? Yeah, I'm extremely confident we will. Leonardo is back. Live show. Yes, I saw a beautiful cybercab circling around Lake Merritt in Oakland, California. Wow, Lake Merritt, one of my favorites. I was once invited to yoga at Lake Merritt when I lived in Berkeley. When does Tesla hit 600? Good question. When we have 10,000 cybercaps, which could happen this year, by the way, but I wouldn't guarantee it. Under 740, I won't sell Tesla. 740 is a very specific thing. Probably smart. This is the interesting thing. It is very important to control your greed. We all know that the odds that Tesla does not reach 740 are close to zero in the next years. So you're buying a stock at 337, you know it's going to go to 700, 800, 900 before 2030 guaranteed. I don't guarantee anything, but for me internally, I see it as guaranteed. If we get totally disappointed, it happens in 2028 and not end of this year. But does that really matter? That's what you have to ask yourself. And then people point at another stocks like, oh, there is this unknown mini neo cloud, super neo cloud that no one has ever heard of. I don't know which one it is. I'm just making this up. And that stock goes up 3,000%. And then people say, I'm so stupid. Why am I in Tesla? Tesla is up 100% over the next 2 years if we get unlucky. But the stupid little neo cloud no one heard of is up 3,000% then. Well, if you think like that, you will be always unhappy in life. This is not how it works. There's always something more amazing. You have to sit back and ask yourself, how many normies out there? How many average Americans, average whatever, Germans, British, Australians, Canadians, how much do they make? Do they make 100% every 2 years? No, they don't. So you should be happy. This is a good stock. We understand it deeply. We understand where it goes. It goes up. And if you say over the last 5 years it went sideways, I understand. But it was also pretty obvious. I was not one of the people in 2021 who said this thing is gone tenfold. No. I waited and waited. I was fully invested, completely invested in Tesla in 2019, which was very good for me. And in 2021, I sold. I was very uninvested. I had a little thing going on there too. But I didn't comment on this stock for all that time until 2024. And then I started saying, now I'm getting very confident that in the next 6 years, this thing will explode to 10,000 or whatever. I still believe that. And I'm more sure than ever. So don't be too greedy. If you make 100% in 2 years, be happy. Don't look at other things just to point how great they are. Now, that doesn't mean we are not looking at other things and trying to find these super neo clouds or finding another super big stock and going into it. That's fine. But I don't think Jensen will sell that GPU hard assets like gold as an investable asset class. I thought these were a rapidly depreciating asset. No, no. There are some very interesting things happening here. There was this young guy, Kalchi or whatever, Kashi, who the whole Moonshot crew invested in. He was just on Moonshots. I like Moonshots more and more, by the way. The podcast, the competitor for All In, with Diamandis, Peter Diamandis, and the crew, Alex and so on. They're very smart. They're getting better, more entertaining. All In has to be cautious. And they invested in this young guy, MIT, and he talked about tradability of GPU of compute. And I disagree. You can absolutely turn them into investable assets, compute as an investable asset, and this is hot. Now we have options, we have futures on compute now. It's all being established in Chicago. And this is a crazy development. We will trade compute like we will trade oil. And you will trade the different GPU types, H100s, B300s, whatever, Vera, Rubin, VR, I don't even know the numbers, 200s. And you can totally trade them. You can trade them as options and futures. You can bet on the price of compute a month from now, 2 months from now, end of the year. Who cares if they're not depreciating, by the way? You have to see it this way. If you have an H100, it has a certain price. You know, I can show you how this works. So H100 compute price. Look at this. We have this beautiful thing. Here. Where is this? I want to see the live prices. Look at this. Here it starts. So you see these providers, you can rent the GPUs. You see H200X is SXM. These are hoppers, Hopper 100. 381 per hour, 264 an hour, 529 an hour for BlackRock 200s, A100, $2 an hour. And you see that. And we now have financial instruments that let you trade that. You know, and you create like a marketplace. This guy is doing it and he's making a lot of money. They already had $250 million in revenue. It's pretty good just for a financial instrument. And you can trade futures, right? You can say, I'm buying H100 SXM for $2.50 an hour in December. And you can bet on this. So who cares if it's depreciating? It's there. People will buy it. People will buy H100 computes for the next 5 years. Maybe they will pay less for it. Maybe. But maybe the price goes up next year. That's very, very possible that H100s become more expensive. They are already becoming more expensive. So, and they are 6 years old or whatever. So it doesn't matter. You have to think like a finance bro. The Carlos Royal from San Marcos, California. Hello. Hello from the UK. It's Luminous is back from the UK. And Anton Stoyanov. Greetings from Sofia. Is that Bulgaria? Oh, I'm being put on the spot. Sofia. Bulgaria capital. I'm not that stupid. I mean, I shouldn't be too proud of that. That should be not too hard, but I'm still proud. Joe, what is your updated prediction of inflection point for Robotaxi when Tesla jumps over 500? I mean, not much has changed in my general reasoning. I think if we deploy thousands of these things, we will rapidly exceed 500. Once we deploy thousands of these things that are actually working, and that will or can happen this year. That's why I think we will hit all-time highs before Christmas. But it's a little speculative. I'm very cautious now. I was wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. My prediction on Robotaxi inflection was wrong. My prediction that there is a forcing function on Cybercab as a production line is still correct. And so I think it has to happen. And I think once we add multiple thousands, this thing goes over 500. I mean, yeah, Susan Ling, you never know. You never know. Chasing is dangerous. Don't chase. Do research, have conviction, and buy when it's cheap. And, you know, de-emphasize, defocus when it's too expensive. Jensen just had the best month a CEO has ever had. He announced a $500 billion deal with SK Hynix when then SpaceX said they would exclusively build out with NVIDIA GPUs, then another $500 billion. Amazing. Well, he earned it. He earned it. So I'm still waiting for 15,000 Cybercabs, 500 at 30 locations. Yes, let's see. It's going to happen. It's guaranteed to happen. I sold a little Tesla and bought a little SpaceX. I've heard that story before. I bought both. What is your current updated prediction for Robotaxi inflection point? I am cautious. You know, I was wrong on how they will roll it out. So I think they're just building out the infrastructure and no one can tell the exact timing, but I think it's guaranteed to happen in the next 12 months. It is still likely to happen in the next 6 months, but the way I bet on it has changed. I'm more cautious. I'm less confident on specific inflection points. I'm tracking this daily and I'm ready to move in very boldly once I see movement. Because here's the thing. If you see Cybercabs rolling out, if you see 100 unsupervised Cybercabs running around, the stock goes up 10%. Who cares? Then the stock goes up from 340 to 370. But if the rollout is real, it goes up to 500. So you have still enough time. You just have to react then within 24 hours. So Susan Ling says still 13% down, average 398, was average 415. But that's good. You averaged down. I think that was a wise move. 398. I don't think you will regret this, Susan. You know, things can change very quickly. Uh, Sir Jeffrey, talk to me, Joe. Sure, sure, Sir Jeffrey. Well, the Queen has knighted you, so of course I'm going to talk to you. After the big recent losses, I started a fight with my girlfriend. Did she start it or did you start it? Don't do that. Yeah, stocks, stock losses, and girlfriends don't mix well. They should never be mixed. Don't mix your losses with your girlfriend. Very bad idea. You have to become a professional about it. I'm buying like SpaceX and Tesla are one. If Tesla is going up, I will buy SpaceX and the other way around. Well, that's very smart, Cypress Hill. That's going to make you rich. Why do I get the same question all over again? I plan to wait for the best chance of what? When do you think a Tesla event is happening? End of December? I don't know. I can't predict Tesla events. Optimus is very hard to predict when they do the event. I think it can take some time because they will only do an Optimus event when they're fully commercially ready and deploy these things and not before. I'm very sure about that. Catch up. Hello, Mr. Joe B. Many thanks for all your information. You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Do you think stocks SpaceX run to 108 again before December? No, I do not think so, unless the market crashes, of course. But on its own, no way. I think SpaceX will announce some major deals very soon. The unlocks that are coming now are smaller than the unlocks we have seen. As I said, I believe 135 was a significant resistance, but we blew through it with a lot of volume yesterday. And now we are dropping a little bit, which is normal. I don't think we are even dropping to 135. We will see. Back. So I think there's so much power in SpaceX right now that this is pretty stable. That's what I think. But we still have to be cautious with SpaceX. The price discovery is ongoing. Much less safe to say what's happening there with Tesla. Mahida says, the new version of Google Finance sucks so much compared to the old version. 100% true. What did these people do? It's horrible. It's ridiculous. Google Finance is so bad. I can't even. How can you have such a dumb update? Have you bought one of these little Tesla bot toys? No? It's the Optimus bot toys. How is Tesla going to reach 700 if SpaceX buys them out? Well, let's see about when that happens. I don't agree with Alexandra that this is happening in August. That would be crazy. Yeah, there's NVIDIA up to 1000%, 5-year. Tesla's up 40. That's true. That is true. Here, Luciano, control your greed. Exactly. Remember what I told you. Control your greed. What if SpaceX buys Tesla for 600 and then SpaceX goes up 15% from there? Exactly. Here, Charles Luca. I need to correct myself about Robotaxi comment earlier. They were cybercaps, even better. And yes, my last name is very German. Danke. Charles Karl Lücker. Karl is your real name. Karl Lücker. Very good name. I love it. Tennessee. I need to correct myself about Robotaxi. Franklin. Cybercaps. Exactly. What do we have? What do we have here? Richard Da Costa, thank you, Joe, for putting me on to Micron. Be cautious, but Micron is just undervalued. This is what it is. People underestimate the amount of money that's coming in. I've gone in on SanDisk now. They have incredible long-term deals. Yes, but Richard, you just have to be cautious when the next craziness starts, the next panic, they will suffer again, of course. Palantir and Tesla? Yeah, Palantir was on a total tear. Bullish as Fook. This is a very tricky name to say. There won't be any merger announcements anytime soon. They can't legally do it until they are price discoveries for SpaceX. I think so too. Anyone that says anything different is out of their mind. Could be. Why isn't Elon building data centers with Tesla? Because they are with xAI. That's, I mean, this whole Colossus thing happened with xAI, and you can't just, if you have all this competence in one company, you just can't just pull it into the other company. Mergers next year. That's what I think too. Elon confirmed to me in private. China Hill hangs out with Elon. Very good. Enzo, Cape Town, South Africa. I always hear like scary things about South Africa, but some people tell me they're still beautiful areas. So greetings to Cape Town. Catch Up is in Belgium. Catch Up, hello from Belgium. Invited to yoga at late merit. That's funny AF. Yes, it was total hippies, by the way. Joe, what's your background? Can't place your accent? What? You can't place my accent? I give it away from time to time. I give it away when I call Charles Lücker from Tennessee, Karl Lücker. Think about this. Who can say so beautifully Karl Lücker? Think about it. I'm hoping Tesla will buy me a bigger house. But as things are going in the UK, I might end up having to take it in boat. Susan Ling. Oh, you're in the UK. Yeah, this is buying a big house in the UK might, the government might require you to take in some boat people. That's how it goes in the UK. Too bad. Make sure they don't have knives. Hello from Belgium. Draw the Watzik. What is your opinion on the latest counting on Robotaxi? Herbert and Brian had a video based on VIN numbers to date, greater 2,300. Well, I said not too long ago that I'm pretty sure over 1,000 cybercabs are live. And that was some time ago, a month ago. So I think we probably already have over 2,000 cybercabs alone. So. I sold Tesla to buy SpaceX yesterday and sold SpaceX by the. This is very good. All Google applications will backslide. It's because some hotshot programmers come in, then decide to make a mark before they're experienced enough to know they don't know. Interesting. Yeah, Google, I don't know. I'm such a not Google fan. Terafab started. I reported on it last weekly brief. Go to pioneerlands.org, read and watch the weekly brief. I reported on Terafab, all my comments on it. Be prudent these days because we don't know where crazy Trump will threaten war or tariffs again. Sure, but the market also, like the way the market reacts to the Trump thing is more and more wise. They're just anticipating the whole thing. Tesla IV rank was negative 0.5 this morning. Yeah, the options premiums have shrunk tremendously on Micron and Tesla. What the hell? How can I make money with these little options? How many cybercabs by December 26? I'm still, well, I still predict 15,000. I'm very sure 15 to 20,000 by December. The question is, the big question is, how many will be in operation commercially? But absolutely 15 to 20,000. I'm actually very confident on that prediction. The question is, if they're not deployed, it doesn't help much. Elon should buy the UK. He did ask how much. I know. In case you didn't know, there's a deal going on. Elon wants to buy the UK. But I told him not to do it. It's much easier to go to Mars and turn this thing into like a habitable planet than buying the UK and fixing it. I think buying the UK and fixing it is pushing it. Elon could fail. Elon's video about himself was quite inspirational. And a video about himself? You mean the SpaceX video? I think it's 17 trillion to buy the UK. That sounds very cheap. I doubt you can buy the UK for 17 trillion. I have my doubts. Joe, Roy Kashaf. Why not diversify into other AI infrastructure stocks? You're so focused on a couple of stocks. Am I? I'm focused on Mag 7. I'm focused on the semiconductors, especially Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA, but I only like NVIDIA, and Broadcom, but I only like NVIDIA right now. I'm focused on the memory stocks, and I only like Micron right now, I will be focused on the neo clouds, and then I'm super focused on SpaceX and Tesla because I still think they are the best opportunities. Big fan number one. Hi, Joe. Hi, big fan number one. Great name. What's the forcing function number now, Joe? So it's a little bit more tricky now because I think we will get to my forcing function numbers, but I don't know if they deploy them. So now we have two numbers. The number is like how many cybercaps will they have in the wild and how many are deployed. It's tricky. I still think it's 2,000 for deployed. You know? So not much changed from my predictions, only that I was wrong on the exact timing. But I do think if we have 2,000 or 1,800 in the wild commercially deployed, it is a forcing function. It is a forcing function. And since we now, I mean, just think about this, 2,000 cybercaps forcing function, we go to 600 or whatever, above 500. I'm pretty sure on that. And we already have over 2,000 sitting around. Soon we will have over 5,000 sitting around, probably in 2 months. In 2 months, we have over 5,000 cybercaps sitting around. If I'm right, that once you deploy over 1,000, you are getting very quickly into 500 plus territory. What is the bet? The bet is we are having all these thousands and thousands and thousands and soon tens of thousands of these cybercaps sitting around and they will never get deployed. I would not bet on this. Instead, I would bet on once we hit 10,000 or something in November, something has to happen and then things will happen very quickly. Stand By Me video? Is it really? I have to watch it. Ricardo Borges says UK is not worth more than 10 trillion. I agree. I wouldn't buy it for 10 trillion. I would just buy more Tesla shares and SpaceX shares and options to not drive the stock up. Stand By Me video. I'm going to watch it now. We wrap it up now, nearly 1 hour. I will watch the Stand By Me Elon video. We do this last question from Henning Schulze. What do you say about the future massive dump SpaceX will take? Announced multi-billion capex for Moon and Mars. He will use those funds without immediate or direct shareholder return. I disagree, Henning Schulze. I do think that's not going to happen. I think they will be very close to the money. They will spend it on AI satellites with immediate return. Once they scale it enough, they will do a little moon mission. Not much capex required. NASA pays for it. Then they will establish a moon base. And then they will raise money for that, but that's in the 2030s, and that will have a very high ROI. And Mars, forget it, this is all NASA paid. Merger talk, useless. Yes, useless. Carlos Royale, I don't like Palantir. I'm not a big fan of Palantir. I think it's a good stock. It might go through the roof. It might make a lot of money, but I have moral objections. I find this whole thing a little sketchy. So I don't like it. I want to have more moral clarity on Palantir. I'm building Pioneer Lands. I have to not just make money. We can make enough money with clean stocks, but Palantir is a little dirty in my opinion. At least they haven't explained to me sufficiently how this is not dirty. Shouldn't the price of a country be something like GDP times 10? That would be 40 trillion. No, street cred zero. You can't trade on revenue. You have to trade on profits. This is like whatever profits are for a country. You're not getting that money. If you buy the country, it's not that you can get the GDP. If you say 10x, that's like price earnings. This is not your earnings. You can't value countries like that. If you look at the actual taxable income or something, or the tax income, then it's always negative because they're spending too much. So all these things are bankrupt. That's another problem. You can just sell the assets. You have to look at the assets. Book value. When you buy countries, look at book value because they're all losing enterprises. Just think about it, street cred zero. If you become the king of Great Britain, you buy that thing, you kick out that silly little king, and then you're the king, but you're the real king. You're a dictator. You can take all the money. There's no money. They just make debt all day long, right? So it's a loss operation that is getting worse and worse. So all you can do is like liquidate the whole thing. So you have to do the math on that. But if you buy the UK, you're probably not getting everything in the UK. I don't know how it works if you buy a country. Illiquid assets, exactly. Carlos Royale, what do you mean dirty? I think morally dubious. I want to see what Palantir actually does. You know, it's too defense oriented. It does all these government things, collecting data. It's just, I don't know how to, I don't trust it. I don't want to be mean, but I don't trust it. I would need to have more clarity on what's happening there. To the moon, back, then Mars bots take over and I get my spaceship. Elon promised that all SpaceX employees can go to the moon. Let's see. Lake Merritt Yoga. Miller Botanicals. Lake Merritt Yoga is very nice. It was a little dirty, this whole lawn there, but whatever. I'm more an LA dude, I think. Okay, guys, that's it. Do yoga at Lake Merritt. Nice place. Nice little restaurants all around it. And there's a Whole Foods close by. Yeah, and then I hope to see you. Oh, under UK law, the Crown actually owns all of the land. Really, all of the land? That's a lot of land. You guys figure out what you get for the money, and you can pitch me next time what I get for my money if I buy that thing, that island. You figure it out. Maybe we can pool our money and buy the UK. If Streetcat Zero makes a good pitch, we might just pool our money and buy this thing. But lots of boat people there. Susan Ling is our spy inside the UK. She can tell us what's going on. Okay, guys. See you very soon. I hope everyone took something away from here. And I will be live very soon. Bye-bye.